folks, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason, and along with my wife Jen, we left Illinois in the summer of 2021, leaving our jobs, our family and friends. We came out here to beautiful Maine to start our homesteading journey off-grid. Now back in Illinois, I did all of our repairs and all of that type of stuff in my garage. Well, unfortunately here in Maine, I don't have a garage. And so to get us to that place where I can start doing some work on stuff, albeit vehicles, other equipment, or just little jobs, I need a shop. And so we're turning this small shed here into my workshop. So we've got all of my equipment already in here. We've already done that part of this process. The next step really is to get this thing wired up. Now, I can't really run anything right now because there's no power to this shed. I do have some generators over here, but unfortunately there's no wiring going on right now. So in this video, we're gonna wire up this shed. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is we've got to install all of the electrical wiring and all of the outlets. Now, I've already gotten all of the equipment, the parts I need. So the way that I'm wiring this is with two sources. The first one being the generator, and the second one being solar. Now, the solar is going to run mainly all of the lights and some of the charging of the batteries, the DeWalt's, things like that. If I need to use any of the bigger equipment, then I'm going to run the generator. And so the way that I want to wire the building is I'm going to have one set of outlets, and on one end I'm going to have an input, a plug that will plug into the generator. It will also have a switch on it. And then on the back wall here, I'm going to have the inverter where the solar is going to be hooked up. Now the solar side is also going to have a switch, and that will be also plugged into the inverter. The inverter and the solar system will run 24/7. That way I have lights on the outside if I need them. If I drive up, the motion sensing lights will turn on. When I come into the shop, if I have to come in and do something quick or whatnot, I can use the lights on the ceiling. Things like that will be used solely by the solar system. Now, in the event that I need to run my equipment, that's when I'm going to turn on the generator, and I'm going to have a plug and a switch on the other side of the shed that I can turn the generator on, and I'll shut the solar off. That way they're not competing, trying to feed all of the electrical lines. Originally I thought of just leaving them, with plugs, but I think I'm going to go ahead and use the switches as well. Just from a safety standpoint, I don't want to damage either one of the systems, and since they are using the same line, when I come into the building, I can turn off the inverter, and then I can go in and turn on the generator. So that's kind of the plan. That's kind of how I envision it. And so, yeah, I've got all the components, and so now I just got to start wiring. Okay, so we've got a couple of the outlets in, and I've got the switch for the generator ready to go. So the next step here is I've already put the inverter in here. It's only a 2,000 watt inverter. That's all I need. Again, it's just going to be powering lights and keeping the batteries of my tools charged. And we've got a 200 amp hour 12 volt AGM Renogy battery. So small system, just designed to, again, keep a few things going on in here. So the next step though is to, I'm going to go ahead and I've got to put the outlet here and then get this connected with the switch as well. and then I can finish wiring the, I've got 2 plugs that are going on this side of the wall. So, all right, gotta get to it. Well, it's been a long afternoon so far, and I am exhausted, but we're not done. I've got everything wired in, so I've got all my outlets set up, but the real test is going to be whether or not the shop lights turn on, because I've got those plugged in right now, and to see if we have power in here, we're going to go start our small generator, get some power in here, and see if it works. Hopefully the lights turn on, and that'll tell me that basically everything was wired in correctly. Though, to be honest, this is kind of my forte, so we're going to go with it and say everything is wired up correctly. But we've still got to test it out, so let's go do that. So once I have the generator started, I'll come back in here. We're going to flip the switch on and see if we have power. Okay, so here's the moment of truth. I'm going to go ahead and flip the switch. We're going to see if our lights come on. And they do. So this is awesome. This is the first time this shed has ever had power to it, and I am pretty excited. I couldn't be happier right now. This is a huge stepping stone for us, but we're not done. Because now that we know that the generator runs well, the next step is to hook up the solar. This also means that I get to warm up my hands in here because I am freezing. Well, crap. So I made a mistake here. I'm kind of upset with myself because I know better. But it is what it is. So here's what's happening. Those panels that I'm using are panels that came from our solar well pump. And now that the solar well pump, the charge controller for that is in the cabin, we no longer needed the panels, so that's how I got the panels. What I should have done is I should have measured, or at least looked into the input voltage from those solar panels, because that input voltage is 72 volts. I screwed up because the charge controller I have only takes a 25 volt, up to a 25 volt input. So if I hook up these panels to my charge controller, it's going to blow up my charge controller. And it's not going to charge my battery. So I'm a little bummed right now because I can't finish my install for my solar until I get a new charge controller. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I could take these panels off, and I have the Harbor Freight panels that I used with this charge controller, and those are 12-volt panels, so that would absolutely work. I really wanted to use these from the solar pump because they're more wattage, they're bigger. I don't know. I gotta think about this, figure out what I'm gonna do here. Hey folks, I have exciting news. We just got our new charge controller. I'm pretty stoked. All right, we went with the Power Mister, or POWMR, whatever you want to call it. Power. It's an MPPT solar charge controller, and let's take a look at it. Right out of the box. Kind of looks pretty simplistic. Looks exactly like what I would expect. Okay. PVD. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go through the manual here and get this puppy installed. Okay, well, the shop is ready and open for business. We've got a working shop now, and I gotta tell you, I am so excited. It has been a long time coming, and this is probably something we should have tried to do early on, but the reality of it is that this was not high on the priority list. We have spent the majority of our time here building infrastructure on the homestead. Now, we did not buy a working homestead, and so we have had to build everything. And that said, most of my tools just kind of ended up everywhere. But now that things are starting to slow down, especially with winter here, most of the infrastructure is in place. With this working shop now, I'll be able to bring things out here and work on things in the shop throughout the winter time, throughout the summertime. And that is a huge improvement to the homestead. I cannot tell you how many times I've had to work on stuff outside or try to fix things outside or in the cabin, and it's just, it just sucked. But now that I have a shop, now I can do all of my work out here. Alright folks, well that's it for this video. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching it. If you haven't hit that like button, please do so. Hit that subscribe button and we'll see you on the next video.